Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, welcoming you to a special edition of Meldon Law and Friends. I get confused. I do Law Talk Live every Saturday morning at 9:30 on the Sky 97.3. And if y'all want to listen to that, we'd love to have you. Been on the air since 2002, so I think we're in our 24th season right now. Every Saturday morning, 10:30 on the Sky. So I might as well cross-promote our radio show as well. This podcast is called Meldon Law and Friends, and we try to bring on folks that we know in the community to talk about things that are interesting and relevant to what's going on. Today, we have the great privilege of having Cynthia Jordan, also known as CJ, who is the assistant basketball coach for the women's basketball program, as well as the head recruiter for the women's basketball program. As well, my wife, Patricia Meldon, who is a famous podcaster in her own right with her Spanish-speaking show, is here today. Welcome, CJ, and welcome, Patricia. How you doing today?
Well, Jeffrey, thank you so much for having me, and Patricia, it's so awesome to have you as well.
You are great, so we have to have you here, and it's our honor to have you here.
We're looking forward to it.
It is.
So anyhow, I want to tell y'all that the purpose of the show is for y'all to learn a little bit about what's going on in women's basketball, and we are very supportive of trying to build women's basketball program into a winning program with lots of folks in attendance because it's really fun. CJ, I know you had a lot of experience with Dawn Staley, both as a player and then as a coach at South Carolina, and she's won national championships and must be an incredible influence on you. Can you talk a little bit about your background, how you got started in basketball, and how it brought you to where you are now?
Okay, well, I'll speak kind of through the early years, Jeffrey, and that I learned how to play basketball. I have an older brother, so following him around and ultimately working my way up to being the Gatorade Player of the Year in Virginia, and ultimately going to Temple University to play for Coach Staley and being a part of her first recruiting class when she first got into coaching over 20 plus years ago. And that journey took me through 4 years at Temple University, and then going overseas and playing in Switzerland and Turkey, and then going back to Temple to be the grad assistant and joining her on her staff back in 2007. So we were there for one season together, and then she got called for the South Carolina job. So I was finishing up my master's degree and joining her in South Carolina and starting that journey, and what we all know about that program to this day. And what
well, tell our listeners, some of our listeners and viewers may not know about the South Carolina basketball program with as far as women's basketball. Why don't you say a few things about what you and Dawn and everybody achieved when you were at South Carolina?
Yeah, so our first season, 2008, Jeffrey, I felt like the games, it had more people working the games than people there to view the game. And so what we did was we did a very mom and pop just approach in terms of getting out in the community and handing out tickets, whether we're at the grocery store, whether we're at the restaurant, because we knew that if people came, they would have a good time, first and foremost. And I think it's a thing that's undermined in terms of when people think about success, you always talk about the wins and the losses, but you need people there, actually there to support the team in that growth process. And, for those players, being able to look out into the stands and to see people in there providing that energy, especially when it's the fourth quarter and the game is on the line, whether it's a possession or two, and you need the crowd to get loud so you can really take advantage of home court.
Yeah, I know that Patricia and I were privileged to be able to travel with the team this past weekend up to Nashville, and they had a good crowd there. They must have had 5,000-6,000 people show up. But I was talking to one of the ushers, and he told me before they started winning, they had almost nobody in the stands, and then
That was not long ago.
yeah, not that long ago, and that they've really built it up. And I think that's one of the things we're interested in doing at Florida. What are things that you learned in South Carolina that you think will help Florida reach those same kinds of levels as far as both talent on the court as well as people in the stands?
Well, Jeffrey, the reality is Florida and South Carolina aren't alike. And the reason I say that is because the University of Florida it's a winning university from top to bottom. And Gator Nation is strong. They come out in groves, and Gators support Gators. So we already have the ingredients in terms of knowing how to feel and pack the O-Dome, whether it's volleyball, whether it's gymnastics, whether it's men's basketball. So getting people inside the venue isn't hard. We just need them to show up for women's basketball. And I promise you, as more people come out and what you've seen in some of our home games when we played, ranked opponents, the crowds have been greater for those events. And you've also seen a different level of this Gator women's basketball program and on those nights with the extra crowd there.
Yeah, I mean, when Texas came to town, I thought we played well, even though we lost the game. But you could see that they raised their level of competition because they were playing a really, I don't know, ranked number 3 or 4 in the country, So they really showed me that they are able to elevate their level of play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our core group is comprised of 3 young ladies that were McDonald's All-Americans, and Layla Reynolds is the first one that started us off, and then followed by Liv McGill and Miara O'Neal. And those young ladies did something that not too many young people would do, but they are on a quest to do something that has not been done at the University of Florida women's basketball. And so they understand it's not an easy road. They're here to build this program from the ground up, all the way up. And I think we're trending in that direction with the additional players that we're bringing in this upcoming year, but even the international flavor that we've added to the program. And I think, we've taken our hits, but we don't look at them as hits. We look at them as learning lessons. And, the reality is, Jeffrey, like there's very much, pretty much all of our goals are still in front of us outside of winning a regular season championship for this team. So we can still make it to the NCAA tournament and still have a deep run in March. So it starts now, and we just need the support of the community to help push us late in these fourth quarters.
Yeah, I've seen the growth in the team. Last year, Miara, the first couple games looked lost, and then all of a sudden as she got through the season, she developed quite a bit. Liv is a great player. Even Liv is starting to learn a lot more about ball control and how to be the kind of quarterback of the team. And I heard a statistic. I was reading this article was talking about the number of games that the team has played. And when you look at the winning teams, most of those teams have a lot of games played. And the way you figure that out is you take the roster and you figure out how many games those women have each played, and then you add them all up together. So, you got 30 and 20 and 40. And anyhow, ours, I think, was somewhere around under 200, maybe 200 games played. and the other teams are closer to 400 games played, which in a league like the SEC is a very important statistic. I don't think any of the teams who have younger players are consistently winning in the SEC, which is the premier women's basketball league.
Yeah, so our conference is the best. Make no mistake about it, Jeffrey. We have 11 teams from the SEC that are ranked in the top 25 in the latest poll. So, night in and night out, but, everybody puts their shoes on one at a time. So it's about being the best team on that particular day. So that's why, the outcomes are decided on the court versus on a piece of paper. So our team is one that we pride ourselves in the growth and development. And that's what you guys are seeing from, like as you referenced with Miar, last year she probably averaged maybe 4 points a game. And this year she's up at about 14 points a game and 6 to 7 rebounds a game. So just tremendous hats off to her for her off-season work and her continued work. Just whenever she's not in class or staying after practice and taking the weight room to another level. And she's still, growing in that area, particularly in this conference with the post players and the physicality. Layla Reynolds, just her overall growth from year 1 to year 3, and being able to be a consistent scorer and defender to provide that perimeter defense. And at times we'll put her on the inside with her versatility just because she knows our system. And it gives us an opportunity when we're playing teams that are playing 4 guards to be able to slide her to the 4 spot. And Liv McGill, she has come in and, when we recruited her just as a facilitator, like an old school point guard. And now we've developed her into a scoring point guard. And I think we're seeing some of her better basketball as of late. And, she was just recently named to the mid-season Nancy Lieberman top 10 point guards in the country. So
that's a big deal.
That's a tremendous, accomplishment. And that, too, is just a reward from all of the work that she's put in.
Yeah, I've seen growth. Even the freshmen that are getting playing time, you keep seeing the growth that occurs. So I want to, commend you and Kelly Ray and the rest of the coaches for doing a great job of developing talent. So we want to get people to come. And one of the things that my wife Patricia came up with is let's fill the stands with the high school, middle school students that have a love for basketball. So if anybody out there wants to get a group together, all you have to do is call Meldon Law 352-373-8000, and we will pay for all of your tickets to come to see a women's basketball game. And we feel like the crowd helps inspire the women. The women, winning helps draw people into the seats. And, it's the chicken and the egg kind of thing. Which comes first? Well, how did you do it at South Carolina?
Well, Jeffrey, we tapped into the churches, we tapped into the grocery stores, we tapped into going to hotels and leaving tickets at the lobby and saying, hey, when you have guests check in tonight, hey, invite them to our game tomorrow at such and such time. And it was just really a community effort. And then, we started out and trying to focus on selling out the lower bowl. Because as you know, in the O-Dome, there's no bad seat, but particularly in that lower bowl, the fans can really be on top of the players. So, that makes it hard, when that lower bowl gets full and the crowd gets loud for the visiting team, they can't hear their coaches, and those things like that. And it's a great, great atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, and you made a good point that gymnastics has great crowds, volleyball's got great crowds, men's basketball's had great crowds, and that there's absolutely no reason we can't do the same thing with women's basketball. And, I really want to follow up on some of your suggestions as far as getting out in the community and offering seats to people that have an interest in basketball. Everything is moving along in the right direction. For those of you that haven't watched women's basketball, we have an exciting team, some really top-notch players, and we're going to be able to match up against any of the teams that we play as we grow and develop. So now's a great time to get involved. In addition to that, my wife Patricia has also been embarking on trying to create fundraisers, particularly so we can raise money for the girls' women's basketball program and fund the NIL, which is critical as far as attracting talent. So, Patricia, why don't you say a few words about some of the ideas and projects you currently have underway?
Well, we have a group of very talented, friends, and that they are putting all this together. And one of the events are going to be here in Spurrier, and it's like 1,500 for two people, and then we're going to have the coach, and we're going to have as many people as we can. But we are like right now, I think that we are sold out, which is a good thing. But then there are other events, and one of them is going to be in the arena. We're going to try to put together like a golf tournament, and all the proceed, of course, is to sustain and to give it to the women's basketball. But the idea is to create like awareness and to enjoy, because these girls, you have no idea how sweet they are. Number one, I see them like 2 meters above my head, but they are just girls. They are 19, 20. Who is the oldest?
The oldest would be Alexia Dazeco.
21?
No, she's 23.
Okay, imagine 23 being the oldest. No, but bottom line, we need to support the girls because with this NIL, if you have a good player, maybe somebody else offer more, and then Coach Kelly is going to lose, her time and all the effort that we're trying to put together a good team. So let's try to support them, and anybody can call the office and we can guide them how. Even what we were saying, honey, just go to the stadium, bring somebody, call a friend, and you're going to have so much fun that every game, then you go, when is the next game? So,
yeah, we go to all the games, by the way, and we have a blast. And you have the one thing is you're going to get really good seats in the lower bowl, right? And we're going to fill that lower bowl. That's
the seats are
step
not assigned, right?
Yeah,
That's correct.
Yeah.
So whatever ticket you have, you can seat whatever in the stadium. You can see it above to see the whole. You can see it close to see the coaches. But it's a really fun experience. And the girls, we had the girls of Elio, our friend. And I took them, and these beautiful coaches, all of them, they were so sweet with the girls. And they love it. They were talking about it, I think, I know, isn't that cute? So it's a good experience and, like a model for the kids, go to sport, go to the events, participate with your friends. And it's a family good things to do all together. It's not like watching the fun.
Yeah, I would second that from the standpoint that it's really important to get out of the house and get your kids away from watching a TV or whatever, their phone, right? Because that's a big bugaboo of mine. I mean, I still like to read books and enjoy keeping up with what's going on in the world and not just watching TV. So what can you do as a family that's going to be a lot of fun and encourage your kids to get involved with athletics, because that's what it does. They come, they see these women playing great basketball. It helps. It helps create a family event for everybody. So again, if you want to bring your family or your basketball team or your classmates to see the game, all you have to do is call Meldon Law at 352-373-8000. If you can't remember the number, just go to meldonlaw.com and you'll see our contact information. And I think the team is doing so well as far as recruiting talent. And CJ, I want to compliment you on that. Tell us a little bit about the recruiting process.
Well, Jeffrey, thank you, but I can't sit here and take all the credit. It's a team effort. But, it's highlighted by the University of Florida. I think Coach Golden said it best the other day is, Florida appreciates winning, but it's comprised of people that aren't afraid to fail. And so it's easy to go out and market for the University of Florida to get people interested, to want to be a Gator. And, our program is one that we kind of still have the old school approach about developing and growing. And first and foremost, our team is comprised of players that we all have relationships with. We really cultivate relationships, and because you have to think about your bad days and who you want to spend those days with on your bad days, because if we're recruiting you, other Power 4 schools are recruiting you, so we all have stuff, everything that's nice, but a building's not going to make you feel good. It's going to be the people. So knowing that you're surrounded by people that care for you as a person and not about production, will ultimately get the best out of our student athletes, and that's what is most rewarding for us.
Yeah, I know that you have a lot of students from around the world, right, in your recruiting scheme. And Patricia and I get to hang out with them and have dinner and get to know them and their families we've had over at our home. And each of the team members impresses us more than the next. What do you have to say about that, Patricia?
It's just that what we were seeing the other days. I mean, the quality of the family, the way that they devoted themselves to, nurture that in their kids, to be an athletic and be a good student at the same time. But then when they come to a different country, they maybe feels like, wow, now I'm lost in here. So fitting in, it takes time, and as well to become part of a team. So it's like a adjustment process, and once they, accomplish that period or time, what I'm seeing is amazing. I mean, in players.
Thank you.
No. And we have been in different practices. So when you go to one practice and then you go to another one, you see how they grow and how they interact into each other. Because that's what basketball is all about. It's not one person. There are 5 at the same time, and they have to be the other one. So it's like two oceans crashing into each other. It's not easy either to kill yourself or ended up in the floor with a big boo-boo.
No, you know what? I want to commend you on focusing in on building a team that sticks together. They talk about team chemistry. In our law practice, we have the same goals, is that, we need everybody to be supportive of each other on the team, because no matter how smart you are, if you don't fit in and you're too, critical, tough on your teammates, then the whole thing starts to fall apart. And so I think you've done a really good job. We observe it. Again, Meldon Law is the only official injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators, and we recently added to our contract that we want to focus in on women's basketball and help not only women's basketball, all the women's sports. The University of Florida is a great university. We've got, a long tradition of winning, and women's sports is really starting to get more and more. I mean, when you started playing for Dawn Staley, to find a women's basketball game on TV in 2004 or whatever it was, right? It was hard to go on ESPN and see a women's basketball game, okay?
So you were not on TV before?
No. Back then, I mean, you really only had, your ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU. There was like no Plus, and games weren't on ABC or TNT or just streaming
or the SEC network.
Now we're everywhere, right?
Now it's everywhere. So I mean, hats off just to everybody who's behind, getting women's basketball, and I mean women's sports as a whole, just on that same level, if not greater, than some of the male.
So that fits in with our narrative, which is, the University of Florida is a proud university with a tradition of winning, and we want to encourage everyone who's listening or watching this podcast to figure out some way you can help support women's basketball. If you have the means and you want to donate to NIL, I promise that you'll get a great return on your investment. If you want to show up at the games and fill the lower bowl first until we fill the second and third levels. Let's start with the lower bowl. Just go. The tickets are $10 a piece. However, we're so committed to helping women's basketball that all you have to do is call our office and leave a message for Jeffrey. Just say, Jeffrey said he was gonna get us tickets for women's basketball. Let us know ahead of time of what game and the date and the game, the opponent, and we'll make sure that you get seats for the game, because the cost of the seats should be no impediment. And I really encourage families to do this. It's so much fun. We see tons of young kids come into the games, and what a good influence on them to see high-level women's sports so that they can follow through, whether it's a girl, a boy, whatever. Our kids grew up in Gainesville, so my son and daughter got to see Gator sports all the time, and they, it's just wonderful. For me, one of the best parts of living in a university city is having all these sports so convenient, right? You jump in your car, you're there in 10 or 15 minutes, and you go watch the ball game, and you have a great time. And Gainesville needs to get behind this team. So that's my message. So CJ, I want to talk about the rest of the season and what's coming up, and give us your idea of how we can achieve all of our goals this year.
Okay. So Jeffrey, we're coming into 2 home games. We have a home game on Thursday and Sunday. Thursday is a special game in that we will pay tribute to breast cancer survivors for Thursday's game. And then Sunday, so Thursday is at 7 against Auburn. So this is the only team that we play twice, so it gives us an opportunity to avenge one of our losses that we've had so far. So really looking forward to that, and then followed up by a game on Sunday, I believe at 2 o'clock against, is that 12 on Sunday?
I think so.
Okay, 12 on Sunday.
Oh yeah, because it's Super Bowl.
I know.
So
That's why we
which
know.
is great. Yeah.
I don't want to correct you.
So everybody, 12 o'clock on Sunday, you can show up because Super Bowl doesn't start till 6:30.
So you can pregame You can pregame on Sunday at the women's basketball game, and then you can get home or get wherever you need to be for the Super Bowl. So Sunday we have
celebrate
Arkansas.
the winning of the girls because we're gonna win.
So that's what we have this week here. But we have 7 regular season games left in the conference before SEC tournament. And as you guys know, since you follow the team so close, we've made a run these last couple years in the SEC tournament. And so what we're looking to do is to do it a little bit earlier. And so, like I said earlier, with 11 teams being in the top 25, that bodes well for making the tournament if you can move up a couple spots. And honestly, we're only 2 games back from getting in one of those spots for our conference, which will ultimately pay dividends to let us see March Madness and see where the chips fall, to go on a run, like men's basketball did last year.
It's a good point you make, because when you have a young team, you develop more quickly through the year than if you have a bunch of seniors and juniors on the team. So that would explain how our team plays better towards the end of the year. So now if you start going to games, you're going to see a team that's a lot better than they were the first game of the year.
Absolutely.
And they're starting to learn their roles and play and trust where everybody's going to be where they're supposed to be on the court, right?
Absolutely.
It's like,
Absolutely.
where?
So, I mean, you'll see it. You'll see it. Our team is just a great mix, honestly. We got so many different languages,
Personalities.
personalities, and it's great though. But that's what makes Florida so special, is just the abundance of different cultures coming together and making something special.
So is there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up this part of the Meldon Law Friends episode?
Well, certainly. Patricia, Jeffrey, I'd like to really thank you guys for being, an advocate for women's sports as a whole, but spearheading, the change for women's basketball, because you guys have a great reputation in the community and stand for nothing but greatness. And I think, you guys will help make the shift in getting the community support that it takes to be a champion. So thank you guys in advance, and thank you for your continued support of women's basketball specifically, but Florida athletics as a whole.
We're
Well,
going to get that crown, I'm telling you.
we're going to get it, yeah. And the fact is, we've got great coaches, we've got great players. Things are coming together for women's basketball. Do yourself a favor, jump on the train now. Don't wait, and you'll see how magnificent our team and players are. I want to thank you, Patricia. Is there anything you wanted to say as far as the events?
You manage beautiful. You have to learn from the experts.
But I'll tell you, Patricia's focus with some good friends of ours is really on trying to find people that are willing to donate money and support the women's basketball program. Florida Victorious is the NIL wing for Florida sports, and if you designate a donation to Florida Victorious, you can say, I want it to go to women's basketball. If you don't want to go through Florida Victorious, just call me at the office and I'll make sure that I hook you up. Leave your name, your phone number. I will personally call you back, and we can talk. We can talk about sports and why we want to help them. So please do your part. You'll be doing yourself and your family a favor. Show up. If anybody wants tickets, I'm very serious. Get the whole women's basketball team from your high school or wherever, high school, middle school, whoever's interested. The young kids show up. Just give us a call at Meldon Law, 352-373-8000, and we will be glad to help.
And also they love to play the Meldon Law Fans Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have
Spin
Fan
the
Fest.
wheel, and they like the
Yeah.
hats. You should see the lines that people make just to, spin the wheel. And they love it. It's good stuff.
Good fun. Okay. Thank you very much for being on the show. Patricia,
you
of course,
for having
everything you do. So we're going to take a quick break here on Meldon Law and Friends, and we'll be back in just a few minutes and wrap up with what's going on in the community.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was gonna see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're gonna have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're gonna need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Somebody else hit us here.
Here we go again.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and we had a great show today with my good friend Cynthia Jordan, also known as CJ, who is assistant basketball coach for the University of Florida women's team, as well as the head recruiter. So I want to thank CJ for joining us. Now I want to give you a few announcements about what's going on in the community. Marion County Father-Daughter Dance, February 6th, coming up from 6 to 9 p.m. at the World Equestrian Center. It's the 20th annual Father-Daughter Dance put on by Ambleside School. So let's do it. This Friday, February 6th, the Ronald McDonald House is having a sporting clay tournament. This is going to be a blast. Meldon Law is sending a team out there headed by my son, Kerry Meldon, and there's going to be live shooting going on. There's a breakfast courtesy of McDonald's. This is Ronald McDonald House, where Meldon Law donates $19.71 for every free throw made by both men's and women's basketball. And this is one of the events that supports this great organization that provides a home and food for families whose children are being treated at UF Health across the street for life-threatening illnesses, including cancer, leukemia, heart problems, and the University of Florida has developed a great reputation to save kids and make their journey in life sustainable. So we need to support the families who have already uprooted themselves. The other kids brought them to Gainesville to be there by their child's side. And Ronald McDonald House is great. If you want to register, just go to Ronald McDonald House Gainesville website and you'll see it. The Riley Auditorium, our favorite place to see a show, February 7th, Saturday night at 7:30, the 60s shows. Okay, right up my alley. It's a New York musical production that has the high energy that immerse you into traveling back to the 60s. So let's support them. February 7th at 8 o'clock in Gainesville at the Heartwood Soundstage. Randall King, one of country music's most compelling modern traditionalists, is playing at the Heartwood Soundstage along with Kylie Fry. Anyhow, Louisiana native, and she grew up in a rodeo family, learning to rope and ride at a young age, but now she wants to sing in front of large crowds, including a lot of her work in Nashville. So go check out the country scene over at Heartwood Saturday night. February 14th at 8:30 a.m. at the town of Tioga, the 7th annual Miles for Meridian Healthcare 5K walk, run, or roll. So let's see what we can do to support them. If you want tickets, go to visit mbhci.org. So mbhci.org. That's where you can get tickets. So let's support all those organizations. And this is really important. Meldon Law is starting a Meldon Law Jury Research Group. We're looking for people in Alachua and Marion County who'd like to participate in a jury research focus group and give us their opinions on a broad range of issues as well as on the specifics of our cases. Participants receive $125 for their time as well as dinner and dessert. It's going to be a party. Everybody that's participated in the jury research focus groups have a wonderful time. I've gotten more people tell me, "Oh yeah, I was on one and it was just a blast." It's real life deliberations, and you get to be part of helping resolve cases because once we know what our jury comes back with as far as how they analyze the case and the strengths, the weaknesses, the value of the case, we're oftentimes able to avoid a trial by taking the information to the insurance carrier and say, we've got a solution here. We think, this is a fair resolution of it, and work towards that goal. So if you want to join it, all you have to do is to visit meldonlaw.com, and then you can either look at the top or at the bottom where it says Jury Research Sign Up, and there's a button there. So check it out. It's going to be great, and we're very proud of the work that our attorneys and team members at Meldon Law do helping resolve cases. Last year, our average settlement for our clients was more than double what all of the advertising attorneys, the big box law firms, average settlements were, which tells you something about the way Meldon Law does things compared to other law firms. Please make sure that if a family member or a friend or a loved one has the need for an attorney, you give us a call at Meldon Law. If you give us a chance, you won't be disappointed. That's what's going on. If you know anybody that needs help after a serious accident, what we do at Meldon Law is help put people's lives back together after they've been involved in a serious accident, and we take our job as a commitment to the community and those that we represent. So I want to thank everyone for listening to our show today. I always have a blast doing it, and thank you very much, and we'll see you next week on Meldon Law and Friends.